At the beginning of February of this year, we all heard the news about Facebook and the horrific collapse that it had experienced. Facebook lost nearly $300 billion at the time, although its profits were higher than expected. So what really happened? And what are the causes of this problem? In February, Facebook, or Meta as it is newly named, announced its new quarterly results in which they declared achieving profits of $33,670 million. As for analysts' expectations, it was said that Facebook's profits would be $33,400 million. So the realized revenues are higher than expectations, and this usually makes stock prices rise. But this did not happen, simply because people do not just look at this number. They also look at the number of daily active users on Facebook, and this number was at the time 1,922 million users. As for the expectations of analysts for this number, it was estimated to be 1,950 million users, meaning that the number of users was less than expected, and Facebook lost more than 500,000 users compared to the previous quarter. The question is, what is the impact of 500,000 users on nearly 2 billion, and why did such a small number make investors back off and mess up things for Facebook? Simply because this number makes investors know if Facebook has reached saturation or not, and if it is possible for Facebook to increase the number of its users. For your information, in the last 18 years, we have not seen a decline in this number for Facebook at all, and it was always on the rise. By the way, this number is very important because when social networking sites compete, they mainly compete for this number. And this was the first hit Facebook received, and it received it mainly from apps like TikTok and YouTube Shorts, who primarily target the age group between 10 and 18 years. And it is the category that if Facebook wants to increase the number of its users, will target. As for the second hit, it received it from Apple. At the beginning of February, Facebook stated that they expected profits between $27 and $29 billion for the next quarter, and these expectations are lower than the ones of analysts and investors who expected profits of $30 billion. So why did Facebook expect such low numbers? On this topic, Mark Zuckerberg stated that this is due to Apple's privacy policies. These policies have made many refuse to track their activities on Facebook, and therefore it is not possible to provide advertisements that target them accurately. And this negatively affects the quality of advertisements, which makes customers withdraw their ads. In this context, in a recent statistic, it was discovered that more than 95% of Apple users refuse to get their data tracked by Facebook, and this is a severe blow to them. As for the third blow that Facebook received, it came from the idea of metaverse and Facebook's entry into this field. This area causes very large losses and requires very high spending. It is true that it could be very profitable in the future, but now it is a huge burden on the company. Despite all this, Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook insist on implementing this idea and believe that it is the future. Well, these were general and brief descriptions of the 3 reasons that caused great losses to Facebook and were enough to reduce the value of their shares. This in addition to other problems that they face daily, which is, for example, their bad reputation caused by old scandals such as Cambridge Analytica and the leaking of users' data, also the problems arising from the monopoly issues faced by Facebook and the US government determined to attack the company because of them. All these problems affected Facebook and made its marketing value drop from more than $900 billion to nearly $620 billion. So what will happen in the company? Well, to know this, you must monitor the company's movements and its future moves and decisions, because this is not the first time that Facebook suffered from a decline in the value of its shares, yet every time it can overcome the crisis. Here the topic ends, and as usual, I have some questions for you. In your opinion, will Facebook be able to overcome this crisis and recover the value of its shares? Answer us in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.